Lizette McGuire told detectives,
I am trying to be there for him, even if he doesn't deserve me to be there for him.
she wasn't trying to sound innocent. She was trying to sound human. From the passenger seat, Jay Whitley gave the detail Lizette kept burying.
She pulls forward.
When detectives asked what happened next, he answered,
He got run over.
And then came the line that destroyed any hope of calling it pure panic.
She backed up, and then we left.
That is where the story changed. Lizette tried to frame the night as chaos, fear, and heartbreak. But detectives weren't just measuring emotion. So once investigators shift from how did it feel to what happened next, the lie begins to lose oxygen. Lizette said,
I was sitting there crying.
Whitley said,
She takes off.
Lizette said she was trying to help. Whitley said,
Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that?
And her response, according to him, was,
She said, I don't know.
But what happened on that particular day and how 1911 call changed the direction of Invest Ion. Thanks to the law enforcement agencies for providing us the footage of this case. Welcome back to our channel. We're trying to give you better content by improving our videos. So, your review about our work means a lot to us.
What happened?
What happened?
We went. Her ex-boyfriend didn't have a place to stay.
Hold on. Stay there.
He needed some help moving. We went over there. He was agitated when we got there.
Though this stop just after 2 a.m. on April 29th, 2018 seemed as an ordinary stop, but the officer didn't know he had just stopped the killer. Sheriff's deputy in Marathon, Texas pulled over a woman for what seemed, at first, like a fairly ordinary drunk driving stop. Behind the wheel was Lizette McGuire. Sitting beside her was a passenger who looked just as uneasy. On the surface, it was the kind of roadside encounter officers handle all the time, a late-night stop. But this stop was not ordinary. While deputies were still trying to sort out who had been drinking and what had happened that night, dispatch traffic from Alpine began to shift the meaning of everything. Across town, a shaken 911 caller had reported watching a violent argument unfold across the street from his home.
Alpine 911? Okay, I think I need a patrol car. I think I just seen not a hit and run, but a murder.
Excuse me, where at?
I just, across the street from my house, this couple was arguing, and his wife ran him over, and I'm walking to the house right now.
Okay, where's this at?
This is on, their address is 400 West Lockhart. They're on the corner of North 17th and West Lockhart.
Okay, 400 West Lockhart?
Yes.
Just stay with me on the line.
Do I go check on him?
No, just stay with me on the line. You saw where the vehicle took off?
Yes, just come on out here.
All right, just hang on tight.
I don't think he's breathing.
All units are being requested at 400 West Lockhart to the corner of West Lockhart and North 17th Street. Be advised, I have a caller on the 911 line informing us that he witnessed a vehicle ran over another person and flee the scene. 400 West Lockhart.
Do I need to do something, right?
Yes. Hey, page an ambulance to that same address. Hey, do you know what kind of vehicle is it?
It was a GMC Silver something. I don't know. Probably an Equinox. I don't know exactly what it was. Achilles. Oh man,
No, just page the ambulance. Yeah. North 17th. Yeah, 1 second, sir. Be advised, the suspect vehicle is going to be a GMC Silver Equinox, possible GMC Silver Equinox. Communications. Sir, what's your name?
I'm Troy Lawson. I live across the street.
Troy Lawson?
The guy's not breathing.
Sir, are you there already?
Yes, I'm here. I'm standing right over the guy's body.
Okay, there's a body, dude.
I just told you.
400 West Lockhart. It's in the 400 West Lockhart in the corner of North 17 and West Lockhart.
The corner of 17th and Lockhart.
Yes.
Right. Tell him to get the fuck here. Like.
I understand, sir. I already have officers en route. Okay.
Okay. I mean.
Is it a victim? Is it a female or male victim?
It's a male victim.
Okay,
It's his name.
what's his name?
He works for
Okay.
a Budweiser.
Hey, is he breathing?
No, it does not look like he's breathing.
He's not breathing?
Stop pulling up. No, he's not breathing.
Do you see the officers?
Yes, I have an officer right here.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and let you go, okay?
At the roadside, officers started asking short, pointed questions.
I can't do that right now. I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. Why is your nose all bloody?
Because my ex
Hit you?
hit me in the face.
Okay. All right.
I have to pee.
I can't let you right now. I'm sorry. You're his. Yeah, you're his right now.
So, you saw him hit her,
Yeah, he put his hands on her for sure. She's got marks on her neck.
but you never saw her hit him with a vehicle or anything?
You were in the vehicle the whole time?
Yeah, I didn't get out of the vehicle.
4155 Highland. Okay. All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, normal, and 10 being high and toilet drunk, how much would you say how drunk you are right now?
Honestly,
Yeah.
4 to 5.
4 to 5. Okay. So how much have you drank tonight?
I had 1 draft beer at the Brick Vault. I had 2 Budweisers and a 4 Horsemen at the Gage Hotel.
Okay. So when was the last time you drank?
Oh, 12?
12?
Probably.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Or before 12.
Smell it on you.
Oh,
Right now.
I guarantee you.
Yeah.
I did a whole
Okay.
30-day challenge, so I guarantee you can sell it on.
Okay, all right. So what I need you to do is just stand like that right there, feet and heels together, arms down by your side. Okay. Actually, can you go ahead and face kind of, that angle right there.
Had the victim put his hands on Lizette? What had the passenger actually seen? How much had she had to drink? Lizette admitted she'd been drinking. Her passenger claimed the man had assaulted her. But by then, the stop was no longer about impairment alone. The questions were beginning to orbit something much darker. As the field sobriety tests continued and the radio traffic grew more urgent, the truth began closing in. What had started as a DWI stop just a few miles away was now tied to a deadly scene in Alpine. And before long, Lizette and her passenger were no longer just being detained on the roadside. They were being taken back for questioning in a homicide investigation. So let's look into the psychological aspects of interrogation.
So let me start off by giving some introductions here. Today's April 29th, 2018. It is 5:07 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Lizette, spell your name for me, just make sure I spell it correctly.
Lisettee.
Lisettee.
Yes, sir.
And McGuire spelled?
MC, capital Guire.
Okay. All right. So, just so that you understand, we are charging you with murder.
Excuse me?
Achilles has dead. Okay. So.
No.
So I'm going to advise you of your rights. Okay.
He had contacted me today and told me that he was leaving his girlfriend and that he wanted to try and work things out. And I had told him I wanted my family back. And we had left it at that. And he contacted me again and said, I have nowhere to live. I'm moving all of my stuff out. And I asked, where are you going? And he said, I have nowhere to live. And this is all by text message. And I asked him, I was like, well, why don't you go to your parents' house?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I can't. So at that point, that's when he had said he was with Dave Samaripas. And then he called me, and I could tell that he was very inebriated. And
what time was this?
this was before 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And I had told him, I was like, just hang tight, we'll try and figure this out. So then I came up here to Alpine, and he had said that he needed help moving out of his house that he was residing in.
This question matters because it reveals the true purpose of the trip. Detectives are not just asking where Lizette went. They are asking whether this was a rescue mission, an emotional confrontation, or a late-night decision fueled by alcohol, jealousy, and unresolved attachment.
Then he left. There was some talk about she was having problems with the key Liz.
Did she tell you that?
Well, she was upset. She was crying.
Did she kind of confide in you?
Well, she was upset about what was going on with the key Liz.
Whitley gives the same destination, but a very different feeling. He says Lizette was already upset about Uckawills at the bar, had been drinking, and became determined to find him. Instead of a calm rescue trip, his version sounds like an emotionally charged search. The contradiction is not in destination, but in motive. Lizette describes care. Whitley describes agitation. That gives detectives psychological leverage, because once motive starts sounding emotional rather than charitable, the fatal encounter begins to look less accidental and more foreseeable.
And so I came up here, and at that point, I don't know if he thought that my friend was my husband that I had brought with me, but he became very violent. And as you can see, he choked me out against my vehicle, head-butted me in the face. At that point, my friend came out of the vehicle and was like, "Hey man, you can't be doing that. You can't be hitting a female like that." And they started to fight. And again, of course, I'm trying to get in the middle of it, and I'm like, "What are you doing? I don't understand why you're so angry. I'm trying to help." And he's here to help me. And he just began, "You're nothing but a whore. I can't believe you would bring that motherfucker here."
Detectives must test the self-defense framing. If Uckawills was clearly violent, that helps explain fear. But if the violence is exaggerated, then the defense begins to look like retroactive justification. Investigators are not denying danger. They are measuring its legal value.
Okay.
They start talking, and it gets a little heated. I get out of the car and go over there, and then
how far did you have to walk to get to him?
I walked around the car. It's like this. I got out and walked around like
Where
this.
are they standing in front of the car?
He's standing here, she's standing here, car's here. I walk around the other side.
Do you get out because you figure this thing's going to end up in a fight?
Yes.
Okay.
And I kind of tell everybody to calm down, and nobody's having it. And he comes over there and starts getting in my face, and he headbutts me, breaks my glasses, and then we start wrestling. And after all that, I got back in the car, and then they continued arguing.
Is she pulling on him while y'all are fighting or anything?
She's just screaming at him. She's not doing anything.
So he breaks your glasses, and what'd you say? Y'all start?
I can't see without my glasses.
Or just?
I got back in the car. We wrestled for a little bit. He had me on the ground. I finally got out from underneath him. I found what was left of my glasses. I got back in the car.
Okay, what happens at this point? Are they both yelling still?
They're still yelling and screaming at each other.
Okay.
He pushes her against the car, and she pushes back.
Like on the hood or something, or against the
against the side of the door.
Which door?
The driver's door. Or like in between the drivers and passengers.
She pushes back?
Yeah.
Did he go down to the ground?
I don't think so.
Whitley supports much of that. He says the argument got heated, Uckawills headbutted him, and there was wrestling. He also describes Uckawil's pushing Lizette against the side of the vehicle. So he does not erase aggression at all. This overlap helps detectives in a different way. Because Uckawil's does appear aggressive, they cannot simply dismiss fear. Instead, they can narrow the question. Even if he was violent, did that justify what happened next? Legally, it moves the fight from did danger exist to how much force was justified.
So he started choking you out.
He gets my car, and at that point, that's when I started to strike him. I started hitting him. Granted, I've never been in a fight in my life. That's why they took me to the hospital, because they thought that was broken.
Mm-hmm.
And he wouldn't let go. And that's where that came from, as well as something over here. I'm not sure what's there. And I told my friend, I was like, let's just get out of here. He's not, I don't know what's going on. And at that point, a guy, I don't know who he is, came over and was like, you need to get the hell out of here. You need to get the hell out of here. You don't belong here. I've never seen this man before, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, working where I used to, I can honestly say I've never seen this man.
Where did he come from, inside the house, or?
No, he came from the street. He came up from behind me.
Okay.
So I don't know where he came from.
Mm-hmm.
It was his house. And he told me, I don't want the cops around here. You need to get the hell out of here. And I told him I'm trying to help him. He said he has nowhere to go. I'm just trying to help. And at that point, he was like, no, you don't understand. And then he got in Achilles' face and was telling him, you can't be hitting her like that. You can't be hitting her.
Detectives ask this because a neutral outsider can puncture both stories. A neighbor is powerful because he is not emotionally invested. His existence also tests whether the disturbance was visible enough that the danger could have been diffused without anyone being run over.
So she knew she had run over him twice, technically, I guess, correct?
Yes, sir.
There's no doubt you knew that y'all ran over him, so she's bound to have known.
Yes, sir.
When y'all left, which way did y'all go? What was her thoughts? Did she stop anywhere to do anything to the vehicle at all?
No. We went down, I think it was 17th Street.
Did she have the lights on or off?
That I don't remember.
When she ran over him, did she have the lights on? When y'all pulled up to the house?
When we first got there, she had the lights on.
Okay. Did anybody show up when y'all are there at the house?
Yes, sir.
What happened?
He kept telling Achilles to stop messing around because somebody was going to call the police.
Who said that?
It was a guy there. A big guy. I don't remember if he was Mexican or black. I think he was Mexican.
Okay, so where does this guy come from?
I guess he's a neighbor. Kind of showed up out of nowhere.
Okay, what does the guy say? Who's he talking to? All of y'all trying to say knock it off?
He's telling Achilles to knock it off.
Like to quit arguing with her and stuff? Is this when just the argument's going on? Or?
Yes, sir. I think this is when he was there when when Achilles and I were wrestling around on the ground.
Is there anything at this point where you thought y'all were in so much danger it warranted running over this guy at all?
I knew we were in danger, but I don't know about that.
Whitley also describes a large man appearing, likely a neighbor, and says he was telling Uckawills to stop messing around because someone would call the police. His version confirms that another adult saw enough to intervene verbally. The accounts largely match, and that is important. Detectives gained proof that this was not a completely isolated life or death trap. Another person was present and trying to calm things down. That weakens the argument that deadly force was the only escape route.
Because then he came at me again. And my friend then got in the vehicle.
And your friend's name?
Jay.
Okay.
Whitley.
Jay Whitley.
I don't know. Jay is his legal name, but I know last name is Whitley. And at that point, he kept telling me, let's just get out of here, let's get out of here. And I was trying to open my door, and Aquiles just kept on, and you're nothing but a bitch, nothing but a whore. Why would you bring your husband over here? And I kept telling him, it's not my husband. It's not my husband. This is my friend. We're trying to help you. You said you have nowhere to go. But yet, at this point, and I'm just like, I'm just trying to help you. And he was like, just get the fuck out of here. You don't belong here. Go back with your fat fuck of a husband.
Detectives ask this because Jay is the only adult inside the SUV besides Lizette. If she minimizes him, that tells investigators she may be trying to shrink the importance of the one witness who can independently describe what happened inside the vehicle.
All right, sir. So April 29, 2018, you remember that date?
Yes, sir.
Remember what happened on that date?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you give me a rundown of what happened that night? I guess starting from when you got into Alpine.
You ended up with how you first got contacted with Lizette on McGuire.
I was at work, and after I got out of work, I was having a drink at the bar.
Okay, where do you work at, sir?
The Gauge.
Okay, in Marathon. Do you know what time it was after you got out of work?
Probably 10:30.
Okay. All right.
She showed up there with some of her friends.
Lizette?
Yes.
And how do you know her?
She used to work there at the Gauge.
Okay, and that's Lizette McGuire?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty.
And then we kind of had a couple of drinks, and Adam was working that night too, and he stayed for a drink or two with Lizette.
Whitley confirms he was with her that night, drinking with her, riding in her SUV, and present for the confrontation. Even without directly contradicting her, his version makes clear he was not some background passenger. He was central to the entire sequence. There is no direct contradiction, but detectives achieve something important. Lizette labels him harmless. Whitley's account proves he is a crucial eyewitness. Legally, that matters because it prevents Lizette from controlling the only other first-hand account of the killing.
And I got in my vehicle. I was sitting there crying, and my friend kept trying to console me. You're going to be okay. You're married. You don't need him. And I was like, I understand that, but I'm trying to help my son's father out. Mm-hmm. I am trying to be there for him, even if he doesn't deserve me to be there for him from what he did to me. I'm still that's my son's father. What can I do? And he just kept telling me, just let's go, let's get out of here. It's only going to get worse.
Mood is motive in early form. Detectives want to know whether Lizette arrived calm, desperate, drunk, angry, or heartbroken. In JCS fashion, people rarely announce intent directly. They reveal it through emotional temperature before the fatal event begins.
Did Lizette tell you to go there? Did you just sort of...
I just ended up there. I didn't know we were going over there.
Were you driving or was she driving?
She was driving.
So how did you end up over there? What do you mean by that?
She finally got where he was at, and we went to his house.
So she got his address where he was.
Yes.
Right then.
Yeah.
And she told you to go there.
I was in the car. I was with her.
Were you driving or was she driving?
She was driving.
Sorry. Okay.
And she drove both of you over to Achilles' house.
Yes.
At that time, okay? We know where he... Okay. Okay, so when you're driving down, or she's driving down the street, you're a passenger, how does she approach, and what's her demeanor at this time? Is she angry? I mean, does she definitely want to talk to him?
She definitely wants to talk to him. I know that.
Is she angry?
She didn't seem angry.
Was she cussing?
No. She was a little, she'd been drinking, I mean.
And she was adamant about meeting him up or
Yes.
talking? Because she went driving around looking for him, so she's definitely wanting to confront him or talk to him or something.
Right.
Whitley says she was upset and crying about Uckawills earlier in the night. He does not describe her as violently enraged, but he clearly places her in an unstable emotional state long before they ever reach the house. The stories overlap on emotion, but diverge on meaning. Lizette turns emotion into compassion. Whitley makes it sound like emotional volatility. Detectives gain the ability to argue that her emotional state was not merely sad or selfless. It was combustible.
And that's when we left. But we left, and we left the location. We went to Stripes. He went in and bought whatever he bought, and we left to Marathon. Now, I know on the way up here, I hit a deer. I know I did, because he told me, it's like, we pulled over on the side of the road, and he pulled the piece that was flapping off, and he pulled it off with my car. And I had asked him to put it in the back seat. Whether he did or didn't, I don't know.
This question is about the SUV, not wildlife. Detectives know the vehicle damage will become central, so they need to separate innocent damage from fatal damage. If the deer explanation is true, some front-end damage is explained. If it is exaggerated, it becomes a built-in cover story.
That's Achilles Gonzalez?
Yes.
Was that her husband at that time?
They never got married, I don't think, that I know of.
They have a child together?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then Adam took off, and I thought he was going to come over here to talk to Achilles.
Were they having exchanges on the phone, or?
I don't remember them having exchanges on the phone. I just remember whatever Lisette tells him that she was having problems with him.
Okay, Adam left. You thought he was coming to Alpine?
Yes, sir. And we got in the car.
You and
Lisette. She drove.
Whose car were you all in?
Her car.
What kind of car is it?
Chevy Acadia, or I think that's what it was.
You know what color it is?
Gray.
Okay. And she drove over here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you left the Gauge. Is it close to 11 o'clock at this time, do you think now, or roughly? Or
Roughly.
Okay.
It could have been later, I don't know.
All right.
And we came over here. She hit a deer on the way over to Alpine.
On the way over?
Yeah.
Okay. Where were y'all at when she hit the deer? Do you know?
I don't know.
Closer to Alpine, or?
It was probably about halfway. She hit it on the right side.
And did y'all pull over and stop?
I pulled over and ripped it. There was some body pieces rubbing on the tire, and I ripped them off. To my knot. I think that's what happened.
Was she talking about two Achilles on the way over?
Not till we got into Alpine.
Okay. Did you know did she tell you we're going to Achilles?
No, I thought we were going to look for Adam. I didn't know we were going to Achilles.
And the car was still drivable?
Yes, sir.
And did they have some front end damage then? Or?
On the right front, yes.
Okay.
Whitley backs up the deer story. He says they hit it on the right side, pulled over, and he ripped off part of the debris that was rubbing on the tire. His description gives the story detail, which makes it harder to dismiss entirely. There is little contradiction here, but detectives still gain ground. The deer story may be true, yet also gives them a baseline. Now, they can argue which damage came from the deer and which came from Uckles. Legally, that sharpens forensic interpretation of the SUV.
So, going back to being at Akila's house, when you...
No. I don't know. I was parked there, and then he said, we gotta get out of here. That this is enough. Enough is enough. He's beaten you as much as he can. We've already fought. We can't help him. And we left.
Where was he standing? Where was Akila standing when you were the other way?
I have no idea. He had to have been, I don't know if he went back inside. I don't know if he was still talking to that guy. Because at that point, I mean, I was crying hysterically because I literally came up here from Marathon.
This is one of the most legally important questions in the case. Position determines accident versus intent. Detectives need to know whether Akawils was beside the SUV, in front of it, moving away, or blocking it when the vehicle moved.
What happens then?
Then he comes over there and tries to get me out of the car.
Do you have the door locked? Or
She's over there messing with the door locks, trying to keep the door locked. He's over there pulling on the door, trying to get me out.
Why is he going after you if he's there arguing?
I'm sorry, but you would have to ask him about that, because I don't even know the guy. Maybe because I was with her. I don't know.
Okay, so he tries to open your door. She's trying to keep the doors locked.
Yeah. And then they start arguing and pushing each other again. And the last thing I remember, she got in the car, and he got in front of the car.
When y'all pulled up and parked, before we get there, did you have to back up? Did she have to go forward? Could she go forward to get out of there? Or was it parked straight or at an angle to where she had to back up or not?
She didn't have to back up.
And is he sprawled on the hood or no?
He's like this on the hood.
Almost kind of like a spread on frisk position?
Yeah.
Like if you're getting pat down
you
or
could
something?
say that.
His arms are spread there. Okay.
Whitley is much clearer. He says Akawils ended up in front of the SUV with his arms spread on the hood, almost like he was bracing himself against it. That places him directly in the vehicle's path before Lizette moved. This is a major contradiction by omission. Lizette goes foggy exactly where the legal danger begins. Whitley fills the gap. Detectives achieve spatial control of the scene, which is crucial because once Akawils is fixed in front of the SUV, the vehicle itself becomes the murder weapon.
I mean, I left my husband at home to come and try and help my son's father.
So, who are you married to?
Adam Molina.
Adam Molina. And you have a child with you?
Yes.
And this Jay Whitley is just a friend.
Oh yeah, he's just a friend.
What time did you start drinking today?
Probably around almost 10. Because I know I had one draft beer at the brick wall. And then they closed down at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And we went over to the gauge.
Who are you with?
My mom, Leandra Ramirez, her boyfriend, Mary Lou Estrada, Adam. And then Jay was there, but he was in the back.
Mm-hmm.
This is not small talk. Detectives want to measure intoxication because alcohol can explain poor judgment, but it can also expose recklessness. In JCS terms, once drinking enters the story, every later decision becomes harder to excuse as confusion alone.
What's his last name?
Hang on a second. I'm having a...
Is it Molina?
Oh yeah, Molina. My bad.
Was Lizette and Adam a couple at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the drinks y'all had, was it mixed drinks? Was it beer? Was it both?
I had whiskey and beer. She was drinking. She was at a table with some of her friends and Adam. And then I don't know what they were drinking.
Okay.
Whitley also places the night at the bars, confirms the alcohol, and says Lizette had been drinking before the drive to Alpine. He does not make it sound wildly out of control, but he does place alcohol in the center of the night from the start. The accounts generally align, which helps detectives. Matching details about drinking make both stories look more reliable on the surface. But that reliability becomes useful later, because once intoxication is agreed upon, the prosecution can argue impaired judgment without arguing mistaken identity.
And then you went to the gauge?
Yeah, we were all at the gauge. Mm-hmm. At the brick vault, it was my mom, Leandra, her boyfriend, Mary Lou. And that's, I mean, that who was hanging out together, just us that were there.
And from there you went to the cage, and then from the cage, how long were you at the cage?
We weren't even there until closing, and closing tonight is 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I would have to look at my phone to see what time the phone calls came in.
Mm-hmm. Can I have your consent to go through your phone?
Yes.
What's your password?
It's a L.
L? What kind of phone is it?
Samsung.
Samsung what?
S8.
What's your phone number?
432-294-0676. Because it's going to be 9 dots, and it's going to just be a regular dot.
I'd like to get some pictures of you.
That's right.
This is the moral and legal closing question. Detectives ask it because innocent panic still usually leaves behind one desperate attempt to get help. No call, no stop, no return, and no warning to police. That pattern speaks louder than almost any statement.
After she runs over him twice, over and then back, she's panicking and says, you're asking her, why did you run over him? She said, I don't know. Oh my God. She calms enough to stop at Stripes.
Yeah.
Which one are we talking about?
The big one, over there.
The one as you're going out on the, I guess you'd be going
by the pizza place.
Okay, all right. And she's still driving?
Yes, sir.
And this is still in Alpine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You get out? Do you go inside to get cigarettes, or does she get out too, or no?
No, I got out.
Can I ask him a quick question?
Yes, sir.
Did she still have her phone with her when y'all left and went to Stripes?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I didn't see it, but I'm pretty sure she had it.
Why do you say you're pretty sure she had it? Did you see it at some point? Did she use it later that night?
I didn't see it.
Okay. Did you have a phone with you?
Yes.
And was your phone working that night?
Yes.
And that phone could have been used by you or her in order to make a phone call to 911? It was working. It was functional. It could have been used.
Yes.
Is that right?
The 911 wasn't called?
No.
That you? Okay. All right. How long are you at Stripes, do you think?
5 minutes.
Okay. And when you get back out to the car, do you drive or does she drive?
She drives.
And where do y'all head to then?
Back to Marathon.
And what happens then? Do you make it to Marathon?
We make it right into the Marathon, and she gets pulled over.
Whitley confirms that both had access to working phones and that no one called 911. He also confirms they stopped at Stripes, meaning there was not just time to panic. There was time to make an entirely different decision. Detectives achieved one of the most powerful points in the whole case. After the violence ended, there was still time to choose mercy. No one called. Legally, that helps prove failure to render aid and supports the argument that their focus was escape, not survival. Lizette McGuire was initially convicted of first-degree murder on June 20th, 2023, and was sentenced to 37 years in prison later that month. Afterward, the trial court granted a new punishment hearing while leaving the guilty verdict intact, so the conviction stood, but the sentence was reopened. In August 2024, a new jury found that she acted under sudden passion arising from adequate cause, which reduced the punishment range under Texas law. She was then re-sentenced to 2 years. And because she had already received credit for time served since her 2018 arrest, Reports said the practical remaining time was about 10 months at that point.